New home sales bounced back in August. Let's talk about it on Today in Mortgages. Hey, what's up, Dreammakers? Welcome back to the show. We're talking about what's real, what's hype, and what you should actually be paying attention to out there in the world of mortgage and real estate news. It's Today in Mortgage. Rich Jefferson back with me again here today, the man, myth, legend. How you doing, Rich?
Yeah, I'm doing great, Michael. What's happening?
I can't complain. I could, but no one would listen. So we're going to get into some things that we don't want to complain about, and that is a bump in new home sales, Rich. So tell me about this article from CNBC that you sent me that talks about this big bump in August.
Yeah, 20% increase in new home sales. That's a giant bump, and it was a lot more than expected.
So, Rich, tell us about that bump. Where were we before? Where are we historically? And is this as good a news as it makes it sound in this headline?
It is really good news, because it was such a high number. I mean, 20% increase is big. But then I look into all the data and kind of plug things together, and it's really not surprising. In At the end of July, we had 9 months of inventory, completed new home inventory. At the end of August, we had 7.5. So a month and a half of new homes were sold in August, and that's a lot of homes. And you just look at what's happening in interest rates. Mid-June, we're in the high sixes. Today and through August, we were in the low sixes. So that's a giant difference in a couple of different things. One, on a $400,000 loan, while that from high sixes to low sixes is about $120, $130 a month. So that's a little bit of payment savings for a buyer. But really, if you look at what's happening with new construction today, these builders are contributing a ton towards closing costs and interest rate buy downs. In fact, over 65% of all new home sales have some form of contribution from the builder to either buy the rate down permanently or pay all closing costs or upgrades. And there's a lot of great things happening. We went from that 9 months of inventory to 7.5 months of inventory because builders were taking advantage of that rate drop, and buyers were feeling it like we've always said. Once the news cycle changes from interest rates are so high to, whoa, interest rates are coming down, that changed the mindset of a buyer too. So they get out there and get after it. So there's a lot of great things. These builders want to sell homes, and they did a great job of it in August. And not only that, builders are buying interest rates down. And so when rates drop, it becomes more affordable for them to get that, let's say, 5% rate, as opposed to, if the going market rate is 7% and they're buying it down to 5, that's a lot of discount points that they're paying to get it down. As interest rates come down, it's a lot less expensive for a builder to get a rate down to 5. So those are some of the factors that are driving things.
That's interesting, Rich, because I think about the buyer getting that lower rate, but the builder getting a lower rate is a really good thing too for them to be able to afford to continue to build additional homes. And so one of the things that's interesting that you said there as well, Rich, is that mentality of the news cycle and the fact that the Fed dropped the rate last week. We didn't see actually a big drop or any drop in the actual rates that we're offering or that the industry is offering. But just hearing that in the news probably triggered in a lot of buyers' minds, hey, it's time to take another look at rates, take another look at the home market to see if now's the right time to buy. And some of them are going to say, yes, I'm in a better place and it's going to work out for me. And these new homes are kind of the best option out there, especially for those first-time home buyers looking to get in a starter home.
Yeah, you just think about it, young families sitting around the kitchen table, they were, 5-6 months ago, they're talking about how interest rates are so high and how they should maybe renew the lease in the rental home they're in or the apartment they're in or condo. And as rates come down, the news cycle changes. And now that conversation is this a time to buy? And a lot of those people that say, oh, we don't know, maybe we should go look. and they get into one of these neighborhoods from these builders, and they're seeing all of the incentives and what they thought they were going to have a 7% interest rate, but that builder is buying it down to 5. That's a considerable payment savings. And now that same home that they looked at 6-8 months ago is in their range where they need to be. So I think that's a big piece of it, and that will only continue as rates start to drop. We're not even below 6. So once we get into a 5 handle, things really change even more fast.
Rich, you have your ear to the ground. You're talking to builders all the time. Have you heard any feedback in the past week since some of this data has come out from these builders excited about this? Where are builders staying right now? Because I know we had kind of a slump in morale over the summer with builders.
It depends on the builder. I mean, the builders that are really focused on first time home buyers, they see the movement. They see things they enjoyed, the traffic in July and August, which is obviously what we saw in this report. People started to look in July and bought in August, so we got to see that big bump. Traffic, typical traffic, end of year, it starts to slow down because holidays are starting to come in, kids are back in school. So traffic's a little slower. So there's a little mixed feeling. There's that high from having a great August and in a good July to now traffic starting to slow a little bit. So they're getting a little jittery.
Well, it's definitely been an interesting fall to see, like you've said, rates starting to come down. That inventory still really high at 7.5 months. A lot of homes out there to be sold, and existing home inventory starting to bump back up over the past 6 months that we've seen. So definitely a lot of opportunity out there for buyers. And like you said, Rich, some opportunities to get creative with financing. What are some of the things we're doing here at Network Funding to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward and allowing buyers the best opportunity to get into those homes?
Right now, our guys are the greatest hype men and women. They're really just trying to motivate the buyers to get out there while the concessions are there from these builders and from existing homeowners, sellers that are trying to sell their properties. They're starting to realize the market's slowing down a little bit. Rates have not moved considerably enough to drive prices back up again. So they're getting anxious. They're selling, they're conceding, they're doing discounts, they're doing a lot of different things. So we're just trying to help our clients understand the best products available to them as borrowers. And then it's just the coaching process of how to, with our referral partners on how to make your offer. Your offer is, you're better off giving them asking price and having them contribute to buying your interest rate down and closing costs than it is to save $10,000 or $15,000 on the sales price. You got to use those tools to just take advantage of where they are in the market, because it is a good buyer's market today.
Most definitely, Rich. We are always trying to help our loan officers understand all those things to then in turn help their buyers best understand the market, find their way home. We also want to make sure we understand all the loan officers out there. So we're announcing today a new survey that Today in Mortgage is running for loan officers to help them understand where they are in the market in comparison to their peers when it comes to how their companies are treating them, how their companies are paying them, and the services and products that you're able to offer. So if you're interested in benchmarking where you are in the industry, click that survey link below. You can go to todayinmortgage.com, check out that survey, and we'll get a free report that shows where you are benchmarks next to your peers. Rich, any final words here on inventory for this article?
Michael, just to put the month's inventory into perspective, remember I mentioned 7.5 months new construction, new built homes inventory at the end of August. In early 2022, we're at 3 months. So that's a considerable difference. And don't forget, at the beginning of June, we were at 9 months. So things are happening. There's lots of inventory. There's lots of great incentives that these builders are putting out for buyers. And if you qualify, get out and get after it. Talk to your trusted mortgage advisor about builders in your community and what they're doing, and let them guide you to the builder.
Good word, Rich. Definitely a good time to get out there and start looking before things heat up with lower rates and some of that inventory starts to go away. Rich, thanks so much for bringing the word on this. Thanks for sending this article to me and helping me understand where we are in the market right now. to everyone. I really appreciate the insights that you give. Obviously, you give these insights all the time here at the network. And so if you guys are interested in learning more about the network, click the Grow link below. We'll get you all the information you need to know about the best network in mortgages. Besides that, thanks so much, Rich. Thanks to everyone out there for watching and listening. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time on Today in Mortgages. Today in Mortgages is produced by Network Funding LP, which is an equal housing lender, NMLS 2297. The content of this program is meant to be a commentary on mortgage and real estate news, and any discussion of rates and or products should not be taken as an individual mortgage or home buying advice or pricing estimates. And any commentary on this show should not be considered a promise to make a loan. All applicants for a loan must qualify, and you should consult a professional regarding your individual loan scenarios for your financial situation. Visit our website at nflp.com/licenses for all state licensing and other legal information.